Hey, somebody needs to check their bags. You have? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to The Professional Noticer. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. My purpose here today, on every show we do, is to play the part of a best friend or a coach. I want to help you live the life of your wildest dreams by giving you access to the greatest mentors the world has to offer today. The Professional Noticer is sponsored this week by our friends at Tucker ATV. You know, the sheer variety of power sport products at Tucker ATV will absolutely blow your mind. Hustler turf equipment, the entire line of Echo power tools, and of course, Tucker ATV carries every make and model of Polaris ATVs. They have the big ones and the little ones, and it's just incredible. But you have to see the showroom. Trust me, you have to see the showroom. The taxidermy, the antique displays, an indoor porch with a porch swing, comfortable chairs, television, free coffee. It's awesome. So stop in and meet Shannon and Lisa Tucker. They treat customers like family, which has got to be why folks from 14 states have done business with Tucker ATV. Highway 43 North in Jackson, Alabama, Tucker ATV, the small town business with the national reputation. Observations and answers, that's what we do here on The Professional Noticer. And as you know, we love it when somebody comes to the table with both. If we can find somebody that has observations and answers, this is just awesome. And today, we've hit the mother lode. This is a friend of mine, somebody that I've known and watched for a long time. And even though Forbes magazine said that she was a woman to watch, that isn't why I watched her. I was actually watching her before Forbes said that because she created a small business and it became a very big business. And now she has written a book. The book is More Than a Bag, and the subtitle is Celebrating the First 20 Years of the 31 Story. Please welcome Cindy Monroe. Cindy, how are you?
I'm so good. Thanks for inviting me, Andy, and hello to everyone.
I'm sure Scott is like playing golf or fishing or...
He totally is, but it's a good day.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now, where are you today? Where are you?
So I'm actually in South Carolina today, and we'll be heading back to our home in Florida next week.
All right. Well, so before we get to the book, and I was so excited when I got your book. I was like, she's got a book. Oh my gosh. You have to, just for the people who are not familiar with 31 Gifts, is if you can just give a little overview of your starting. I just love this story.
Yeah. So I started in the basement of our home in Tennessee. And
now when was this? 20 years ago.
Yep. It was 2003. So that was the official launch. So we're coming up on 20 years. And then, we just I started working through the direct sales channel and having my own parties and started sharing the opportunity so that other women could have flexibility and fun and sell our products. And before I know it, we are working really hard and trying to, be successful in those first 5 years. And then the business just took off. So I feel like, for me, though, my why has always been able to give women choices and to be able to help them, have real life opportunities and to reach into more of their potential. And so as the business started taking off, I just started seeing women running their own businesses and, finding success. And that was just totally fulfilling, my cup and my calling.
And so you started in your basement. And what was the initial idea? I'm going to sell a nice bag to carry stuff in?
Yeah, so I was actually making jewelry with a friend of mine. We went to just some class for a girls' night out, and I went to buy some supplies down at the Atlanta Gift Mart and saw all these great products that have been in gift boutiques, and a lot of those gift boutiques close at 6 p.m. Well, I was a working mom, so I couldn't always get to the gift boutique to find cute items. So I decided that we wanted to give women an opportunity to be able to buy through a catalog, through a home party, to get together and build those relationships. And so whenever they can get together and build those relationships, they find success in their own business. So I held the first home party and the second one and many more. And then we started just sharing that opportunity.
And how did you decide what bags you would sell? See, I love the fact that your book, More Than a Bag, came in a bag that had embroidered on it, More Than a Bag. I think that is the coolest marketing idea. So how do you decide what bags and what sizes and
Yeah, for sure. So I always tell other leaders to go with what your customer is loving. So in the early days, we had all kinds of giftables and things from ceramic cookie jars in the shape of a bag or a little purse to candles. And I'll tell you what people loved were our unique thermal totes. So they had prints on them, some of our wallets, our purses. Our large utility tote is huge for carrying to soccer games and just making life easier for all the busy moms that are on the go.
Well, about 30 minutes ago, when we said, "Hey, we have her. We have Cindy Monroe, and we're about to do this podcast recording. We have Cindy." Julie in our office said, "You have Cindy Monroe? Yeah, where's Cindy Monroe?" And I said, "Well, we've got her on a Zoom." She goes, "This is her bag. This is her bag. I have her bag." And so here in our office, you have fans, and of course they are behind me. I am a fan. I came and saw what you did a few years ago, and got to meet your executives. I got to meet a lot of your ladies, and I was kind of blown away. I was just really excited for you. How did you come up with the name 31 Gifts? I know, but I want you to explain this.
For sure. So for me, I feel like that 31 gifts comes from, of course, the Old Testament, Proverbs 31. And it's a passage that describes the virtuous woman who is family focused, she is community oriented, and she's business minded. And she was known as the landowner who continually, prayed and gave back and was just so valuable in everything she touched and did. And she was leaning into her potential for sure. So I feel like that, we have so many hardworking women today that are so similar to the woman described in Proverbs 31. And it was because of her diligence and success at fulfilling her purpose that she was worthy to be celebrated and recognized for what she was doing in her community. And I think there's so many women that deserve to be celebrated and rewarded and recognized in their communities and by their kids and by their spouses. And so that is really what resonated for me whenever I was starting the business is I wanted to celebrate other women for all their hard work.
Well, I think you've done that. I think you've also celebrated your husband Scott, who's out fishing or golfing, or I hesitate to ask you this, but you're my friend, and so I can ask you, and you can just say buzz off if you don't want to answer, but. So you started this in your basement. How much is this doing annually now? Do you mind me asking?
So, we reached over 700 million. I share in the book that we had several seasons of decline. And so we are definitely over the hundreds of millions. And it's just still having impact on lives. And so I've never been one to really, talk about the revenue because I think that the business is great. And yes, it helps provide jobs and employees. But I really want to have that impact on that next young mom that is needing some extra income, maybe for the diapers or the preschool or all the things that come our ways and gas prices going up, whatever it may be. And so for me, it really is how many women can we help? And we right now are making sure that we have fresh product and innovation to be able to support the young women and moms today, because they're wanting to carry some different products and prints than whenever I started the business at 28. So we really are trying to just make sure that, we still keep that opportunity alive for these women to be able to have their own business, have that flexibility, have the friendship and the sisterhood that you talked about and you saw whenever you came to our conference. So that is what, I really look at whenever I'm looking at, how are we doing? And we are still impacting thousands of lives.
Well, you really are, and I've run into some of your people through in airports and they go, Andy, hey, like, hey,
They love you.
Well, I love you guys, and I know that you have said that the Traveler's Gift had an impact when you started, but I was really kind of unaware that the Traveler's Gift had just come out when you started.
Yes.
I mean, you might have been the only one who read it.
That was my first book to read in a single day. I never just sat all day. I remember exactly where I was. I was on my back porch in Tennessee with just woods surrounding me, and it moved me like no other book. So I've talked so many times about that being one of my favorite books. And then whenever I got to meet you and hear from you at our event, you just continue to be one of my amazing, friends, authors, mentors, and I just really appreciate all that you sewed in, and you continue to sew in through your books. The noticer, there's so many things. Every time something comes out, I'm always paying attention because I'm in a relationship business, and you are always talking about those relationships and how do you impact and find those nuggets in people so that those nuggets will shine and that they can make a difference. And I feel like that part of the culture at 31 definitely was built through some of the learnings that I had through Traveler's Gift.
Wow. Well, like like I have seen before with some people, you have done just an awesome job of plumbing the depths of principle, because I read a definition of wisdom not too long ago that was the definition of wisdom was a deeper understanding of principle. And so it hit me that it's amazing that I wrote that book 20 something years ago. It came out 20 years ago. And today I will do, these 7 decision seminars. And yet 90% of what I'm talking about, I learned after I wrote the book. And so there is, you could have a deep understanding of principle and say, okay, well, I have wisdom, I have a deep understanding, but that's a target, and that's not the definition. The definition is a deeper understanding of wisdom. So it always reminds me that when you get a deeper understanding of principle, where do you go from there? Well, deeper, and that's what you purposely did. You took the principles from the Traveler's Gift and went deeper with them and applied them. And I'm just so proud of you. And now you have your own book. I feel like a father. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We're going to have links to on the show notes to where to get the book, and with beautiful pictures of the book. And so tell me, because we had talked about this years ago, and you were like, I don't know. And now here you are. So what made you move?
Yeah, I think for me, it was a thank you letter, a celebration, a love note, whatever you want to call it, to all the people who have been on this journey. And for me, I really, just appreciate the way that people have showed up and helped, us live out our mission and vision with the values that we have had. And I feel like that, everybody wants an overnight success story, but that's not my story. I actually take you through the book, with highs and lows of building a successful company and those business principles and that have helped guide me along the way. But I feel like that, ultimately I want people and women, I love to serve women, but women that feel unqualified, I want them to know that they have those strengths, they have those gifts to be able to, be successful. And so that's really what I get excited about and why I wanted to help others that are in the middle of whether they're starting their own business or they're running their own business or they're just trying to combine their faith with their career and how those can be done. And you can be successful at living out your faith and your career at the same time.
I am always amazed when I meet somebody who you can just see in their eyes that somebody has told them that they can't or they're not or they won't be able to and and I'm always amazed at how sticky those words are to people. And so I love it when somebody like you comes along to not only offer an opportunity to shift, but it's this opportunity comes as a form of proof as to who you are. And I think I've told you this before, but I probably really relate to a lot of your salespeople because when I do television, some people will say, so you really think that anybody can be successful? You really think, and I can tell that they don't think that, and they're just like baiting me. So you really believe that anybody can be successful? And I'll say, yes, I do. And sometimes they'll say, so you think the person in the ditch can be a success? And I can say, yeah, I do, because I was the person in the ditch, and so I understand that. But what you need to understand, I'll say to them, is that I don't think that the person in the ditch can stand up today and be this massive success tomorrow. Right. The person in the ditch can be a success because the person in the ditch can change and they can shape the direction of that change. And if they have people around them that will help them shape that direction of the change, I absolutely do believe anybody can succeed at what they choose to do. And so hats off to you and your family for providing that opportunity for so many. So the book is not just for ladies, though. I mean, I hate to break this news, but the book is for anybody who feels like the American dream has passed them by. The book is for anybody who needs encouraging. The book is for anybody who is building a business of any kind and wants to make sure they're following the proper steps, because your story in this book, not just the victories, but the failures, the near disasters, and all this comes together in a beautiful way, because the whole deal to me is experience is not the best teacher. Other people's experience is the best teacher. And so, if you can read Cindy's book and avoid that particular landmine.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. But the book it's interesting. Thank God you have big print in that book. I guess my eyes, I can't see anything anymore. My eyes have just fallen off a cliff. But I'm so great. What is it that if you could wave a magic wand, what is the three things that you would want to make sure that everybody gets from this book?
Yeah, so I feel like that it kind of pulls back the curtain and allows the reader to see how personal values intersect with business to create an impact. both in times of whirlwind growth, because we had that crazy growth, and in times of adversity. And I'm pretty vulnerable in the book around some of those setbacks and things like that. I hope that readers see that they can dare to not only dream, but to do more, to reach more of their potential, and that they can combine their faith, their vision, their hard work, and community to bring those dreams to fruition. I really do believe that so many people get afraid or they hold themselves back from reaching that potential and using those gifts that we've been given.
I agree. I think that one of the biggest things holding us from our potential is not necessarily what we don't know, because when we don't know something, we continue to read and we ask and we listen.
Learn.
But one of those things that is really holding us back from reaching our potential is what we know for sure. And it can be what we know about ourselves for sure. I know I am like this for sure. And it's a sad thing, because I always Austin, my oldest son, asked me the other day, Dad, what is the greatest advice you've ever gotten? And I said, I know exactly what it is, because 40 years ago, Jones, the noticer, told me, you can't believe everything you think. And that filters almost everything I contemplate to this day, because I always think, okay, there's more here. And I don't want to be guilty of not reaching my potential just because I've decided, okay, I know everything about that.
So true. And we can always learn.
Yeah. How are your kids?
They're great. My daughter Alex is 23 and living in Columbus, Ohio. My son's 21, living in New York City, and they're fabulous. Just so fun. We still get together and just love hanging out as a family. And so that's definitely one of my measuring sticks of success, is that they still want to come home and they still want to go to Disney World. So we're going to Disney World in a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow. Well, save your money. I know I know the business did $700 billion last year, but Disney World cost a lot more than that just to park, Cindy.
Just to park. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I was talking, somebody asked me the other day about Walt Disney, and they said, do you know that he's like supposed to be cryogenically frozen? And I said, well, he's not. And they said, how do you know? I said, I'm telling you, he's not. Because if they had cryogenically frozen Walt Disney, Disney World would have figured a way to put him on display and charge people for it. So I'm telling you, he's not. Hey, where can we get the book?
Yeah.
Where do you want us to get the book?
Amazon has the book. I appreciate all the support and love and the reviews. So we also have a website, morethanabag.com, where you can go and join our email list and get some exclusive content. So yeah, it's just super easy and fun, but check out More Than a Bag. And we just appreciate all the support that you've given us over the years.
Well, absolutely. And I just, again, I'm so proud of you on so many different fronts. And so thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. And we'll have all the pertinent information, how they can reach you, how they can get on your website, everything on the show notes. But thank you, Cindy.
Great. Thank you, Andy.
I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing the tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Diet Mountain Dew for the cast and crew, provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional funding provided by the College Football Coach Acting School of America. Have you always wanted to coach college football but thought you were limited because you never actually played football? That didn't stop David Cutcliffe, and when he coached the Duke Blue Devils, he was named the Walter Camp Coach of the Year. Then there's Hugh Freeze at Liberty and Mike Leach at Mississippi State. Neither of those big-time coaches played football either, but they had to learn how to act like a coach before they could ever hope to get a job, right? That's where the College Football Coach Acting School of America comes in. For the career-altering price of $4,900, you'll be immersed in everything you'll need to know to be hired as the head football coach at a major university. Our classes cover an enormously broad range of topics and are sprinkled with guest lecturers who are simply the very best. Steve Spurrier will come in and teach the proper way to throw a visor in disgust. Lane Kiffin of Ole Miss will lead a discussion about burning bridges when you leave one job for another. Kirby Smart of Georgia will present his take on successfully biting the hand that fed you. And we offer a graduate level course taught by Nick Saban on how to have a stroke in public to get your point across. Enroll now. Classes are filling up. The College Football Coach Acting School of America.